Welcome back to the Ed Show, and finally tonight, chaos erupted in Georgia today. These pictures show the desperate situation millions of Americans are facing. Over the past 3 days, 30,000 people showed up outside of Atlanta just to get an application for public housing. Today, an estimated 10,000 people stood in the lines for hours in 90-degree heat. Dozens of people were treated for overheating. This is just amazing. Last week on this program, I showed videotape of what it was like back in the 30s and how desperate people were, and recalled a story at the dinner table that my dad used to say, how he went through the Depression and that they had bread lines and whatnot, and of course we'd never see that again in this country. Can we see that tape again? Because there are things in place. I find this amazing. It was a security issue today. NBC's Ron Mott, he's live in East Point, Atlanta, tonight with us here on The Ed Show. Ron, what was it like down there today?
Well, Ed, I got to tell you, good evening to start. I've got to tell you that the first thought that I had when we pulled up on the scene here was whether we were in America. And I have to be very careful as a reporter not to overstep my bounds. But this was a very disgusting scene that we saw here in Metro Atlanta today. Dozens upon dozens of people passing out from the heat, standing in the heat just to get an application to apply for public housing here in Metro Atlanta. This does not guarantee them a place to live. In fact, they had so many applications go out today, 13,000 applications. There are exactly 0 public housing units, 0 subsidized housing units available in East Point, Georgia. A lot of these folks will never get off that wait list, and the executive director of the Housing Authority acknowledged that today. My first question to her was, could you not have come up with a more dignified process so these folks, many of whom are facing some of the worst times of their lives, could get out of the heat, could understand fully what they were getting into here today. They were happy, I must tell you. They were pleased beyond words to get these applications today, because at least they get into the system, and at least that gives them some measure of hope of getting into federally subsidized housing. But I got to tell you, today was not a good day for the folks who ran this. They should be embarrassed, I must say, by what unfolded out here with people passing out in the heat simply for a chance to get on a waiting list that could go for years and years before your name is cleared, Ed.
Ron, was security an issue down there today?
Well, they had a lot of cops here, and one of the questions I asked the city manager and the police chief is, why in the world would you send police here in riot gear? That automatically will ratchet up some people's emotions to see that that's how the authorities are looking upon them. They did not have a whole lot of issues here. They did have one person apparently going through the crowd with a taser. We have no idea where he got this taser. We don't know who this man is. Police said they gave chase, but because this parking lot was just a chaotic scene, they did not find him. They also got a package delivered to the front steps of the Housing Authority. Turns out that it was a suitcase with a letter in it saying, "Please help me, I'd like to get some housing." They thought for a second there that there was a bomb or something called in. They had it checked out. Fortunately, it was not a bomb. This is how desperate these folks are here, Ed, and this is the treatment they got here today.
Now, are most of these folks unemployed and they're just destitute? Or are they street folks? What about that?
We don't know what the breakout was. My guess is that a number of these people were, in fact, employed. These are the working poor looking to get a break on their housing costs, and that's what the Section 8 federal housing subsidized program is it's going to cover the difference between what your landlord wants for that piece of property and what you're able to afford. The government will step in and give you a voucher to pay the difference. But it is a program that has helped so many families across the country for years and years. But today, again, as I say, I think they deserved better than what they got today in terms of these conditions out here.
NBC's Ron Mott in East Point, Atlanta. Ron, thanks for that report tonight. And one can only imagine, watching this videotape that we showed you earlier on this story, how many other cities have it like this across America? And I think we have to ask the moral question, aren't we better than this? Tonight, in our text survey, I asked, do you agree with Congressman Alan Grayson that Robert Gibbs should be fired? 55% of you said yes, 45% of you said no. That's The Ed Show. I'm Ed Schultz. For more information on The Ed Show, go to ed.msnbc.com or check out wegoted.com, my radio website. You can